Puri Prisoner. Puri Prisoner mixes flamboyance with raw utility. He's loud and theatrical, then suddenly lethal in tight quarters. His grapples and clinch techniques let him immobilize multiple foes, protect civilians in melees, and turn crowd control into manageable piles of subdued threats. Don't mistake the camp for weakness. His strength and clinch dominance make him a frontline anchor in tight spaces. He's also a morale booster. The show keeps civilians calm while he handles the violence. If a villain underestimates him because of the costume, they'll regret it. Tanktop Master. Tanktop Master is momentum embodied. He's a living battering ram who opens holes in enemy lines and keeps them open, using tackles, slams, and coordinated pushes with the tank topper army. His presence forces enemies to commit resources just to stop him, creating openings for ranged or control heroes. He's not elegant, he's effective. When formations stall, Tanktop Master's brute force often breaks the deadlock. He trades finesse for guaranteed impact. Genos. Genos is iterative escalation in human form. He takes damage, studies the failure, retrofits, and returns stronger. That loop is core to his fights. His kit ranges from close boosters and jet strikes to high-energy spiral incineration attacks and layered shields. He's both artillery and test subject. He'll tank punishment to learn an enemy, then adapt. His loyalty to Saitama and drive to get stronger push him into risky gambits, but those gambits make him deadlier next time. In long campaigns, his iterative upgrades give real strategic advantages. Flashy Flash. Flashy Flash is speed used surgically. He moves so fast opponents can't track him, trading durability for reaction time and precision cleaves. In multi-threat fights, he's devastating. Close, cut, reposition, repeat. By the time an enemy feels anything, Flashy Flash has already reshaped the battlefield. His after images and multi-angle strikes let him dismantle raids and take out the fastest threats before they coordinate. The usual speedster weakness applies. Traps, immobilizers, and area control systems stop him cold. If you take away his space, his edge collapses. In showcased fights, he neutralizes clusters of attackers in seconds, leaving nothing but a faint wind. And yes, he's probably the only guy who can finish an argument by literally finishing the other person's sentence. Watchdog Man. Watchdog Man is territorial instinct turned hero. He sits on rooftops, waits, and whatever wanders into his patch gets a brutal lesson. His style is animalistic, lightning reflexes, predatory precision, and zero patience for rules. He stalks, strikes instantly, and finishes threats before backup blinks. He doesn't care about PR or teamwork. He cares about removing threats from his yard. That makes him perfect for Q-City's weird single-target hunters and ambushers. He leaves no survivors, which terrifies villains and planners alike. If you need a monster gone before it knows it's in a fight, call Watchdog Man. Pig God. Pig God's power is grotesquely practical. He eats threats, buildings, monsters, hazardous stuff, and ingestion equals removal. Inside him, digestion can neutralize biological or inorganic hazards, turning threats into nothing on the battlefield. He can bloat huge after a meal, eat the hazard, close the gap, let teammates mop up. On the field, you'll see him gulp rubble to clear choke points, swallow broken machinery so it can't hurt civilians, or jam a monster's mouth long enough for someone else to land the final blow. His stomach can even act like a mobile bunker, hide behind Pig God, and debris becomes cover. Limits exist. Some things can't be ingested, poisons might hurt him, and enemies who exploit his predictability cause issues. Also, do not, under any circumstances, offer him your leftovers unless you want your sandwich to disappear in a way science can't explain. Drive Knight. Drive Knight is a cold, efficient cyborg with spy-level tools. He shapeshifts for infiltration, uses covert sensors for situational awareness, and has modular weapons for quick, precise kills. He neutralizes enemy infrastructure or exposes hidden weak points. He's not there to brawl so much as to cut the head off the system. Trust is the big story with him. Sometimes he acts like a teammate, sometimes like his own operator. That ambiguity makes him valuable and unsettling. In fight breakdowns, show his recon to strike flow, vanish as a scout, analyze the enemy's support, then surgically remove the core threat. Zombie Man. Zombie Man is persistence made flesh. His regeneration is so extreme, he literally turns damage into time, and time is his weapon. In long fights, he shrugs off catastrophic wounds and keeps going, forcing enemies into attrition or mistakes. Tactically, he's a perfect line holder and distraction. Soak the worst, let allies reposition, outweight the aggression until the enemy's morale or resources snap. He's methodical, grim, and stubborn. Commanders plan around him because you can count on him. Key clashes show him taking explosives, bio-attacks, and still standing to buy the team crucial seconds. King. King's power is basically myth. He walks into a scene after the fact, and people misread coincidence as proof of deadly skill. Monsters freeze because the world believes he's lethal. That hesitation is tactical, enough of a window for allies to act, sometimes enough to end a fight. King has severe imposter syndrome. He's S-class by rumor and luck, not by combat record, and that inner conflict makes him human in a world of punching. Publicly, he terrifies villains, but privately, he just wants to eat ramen. Metal Knight. Metal Knight fights with engineering, not fists. He runs remote arsenals, drones, missile salvos, automated fortifications, big suppression systems, turning approaches into kill zones, and forcing frontline heroes into pockets where his machines do the heavy lifting. He stopped dragon-level threats by attrition and long-range pressure, changing the tempo before ground teams arrive. The problem? He's secretive. Black box labs, weird R&D, motives that read utilitarian at best. Allies respect his results but don't fully trust the unknown. In tactical breakdowns show missiles forcing monsters to move, drones pinning flanks, and remote systems buying time. He prefers distance, and his lab could be salvation or a ticking problem. Either way, his machines hit hard. Atomic Samurai. Atomic Samurai is precision incarnate. His swordplay isn't about flashy moves, it's surgical removal. His slashes don't just wound, they make parts cease to be. He reads openings like a doctor reads veins, timing strikes to split seams in armor, tendons, or monster bodies. Against region-heavy enemies, he's brutal because he cuts out what actually matters. He trains disciples, so his style multiplies across a fight. Coordinated slashes that finish things fast. Tatsumaki. Tatsumaki is compact, ferocious, and insanely precise. Her telekinesis isn't just picking things up, it remaps the battlefield. She can clamp a single limb with surgical focus, then in the next beat rearrange a whole city block to block movement or stop bombardments. She makes moving shields that shrug off artillery, redirects shots mid-flight, and manipulates dozens of tons like it's nothing. In close fights, she isolates targets with a telekinetic vice, then uses the environment as a weapon. Toss rubble to pin someone, flip terrain to trip them, yank a structure to crush. Her temper speeds fights up. She'll insult you and then erase your sense of space. Things that break her focus, emotional ties, her sister, or long sustained mass control. It tires her, so long sieges can grind her down. Big moments show her redirecting orbital level attacks and turning a city into a lethal chessboard. Blast. He's that reclusive legend who basically shows up so rarely that when someone says his name, everyone hushes like someone just said meteor. We don't see long fights with him. We get hints, God Cube incidents, interstellar threats, interventions that suddenly make a crisis vanish. He moves like the plot's ace. He doesn't drag things out, he ends them. Think teleport level movement, this huge presence that changes scale, and a knack for showing up at the exact right second, so governments start rerouting resources. Other S-class heroes treat him like the ultimate backup, not because they've seen him win 1,000 duels, but because his name alone changes a battlefield. If a monster hears blast and pauses, that pause becomes an opening. Mystery is his real weapon. Unknown limits plus perfect timing equals maximum fear. If you want a visual, show a ruined field, then one silhouette, then the scene patching itself back together. That's Blast. Silverfang. Former S-Class. Bang is martial arts boiled down to efficiency. His cross-fang Dragon Slayer fist is timing, structure, and body mechanics turned into a weapon. He breaks momentum, redirects force, and exploits openings most people don't see. Against top threats, he shows how precision and patient control beat raw brutality. As a mentor, his influence spreads through disciples who copy his timing and discipline. He stepped back from frontline duty to teach. Super Alloy Darkshine. Former S-Class. Super Alloy Darkshine is near invulnerable with a heroic heart. He soaks impacts that would crush others, then returns blows that reshape the battlefield, shield and hammer in one. His resilience makes him perfect for anchoring rescues and holding choke points under bombardment. He's human under all that armor. He struggles with confidence and the mental toll of being an immovable object, which is why he sometimes steps back to heal. But in the big moments, when the line must hold and morale mustn't break, Darkshine is the mountain heroes rally behind. Metal Bat. Former S-Class. Metal Bat runs on rage. The angrier he gets, the harder his bat hits. Fights escalate because he refuses to stop once the anger kicks in. He's a demolition specialist in melee. Break walls, break lines, break limbs until the monster stops moving. His mechanics reward drawing fights into brutal scrums where emotion becomes kinetic power. He stepped away from S-Class later. Child Emperor. Former S-Class. Child Emperor is the brain that turns terrain into an ally. Even at 10, he builds gadgets and battlefield devices, freeze traps, targeted drones, quick deploy countermeasures, clever mechanical solutions that neutralize threats biology can't. His wins are often brains over brawn. A clever system collapses an enemy plan rather than charging in. He resigned S-Class later, but he's still the go-to for tactical ingenuity.